Oh, man. The Clippers continue to disappoint their fan base. Once again, they are down 0-2 in a series. Good luck with this one. Before we actually get into the Clippers, I'm going to give a quick shout out to my main man, Donovan Mitchell. 37 points from this man. Oh my God. This was the guy I picked. From his rookie year, I've been following him. I said this is going to be one of the next great players. He's going to take Utah to place to like great heights. He may take them to a finals one day. And so far, he's doing a good job. If he can get them to the conference finals, which I believe he will, then we'll see what happens between them and the Suns. Because I still believe it's going to be a Suns Jazz Western Conference Finals. That was my prediction. I'm sticking with it. And I'm glad the Lakers got eliminated in round one because now that really looks like it's going to happen. So, yeah, congrats. Donovan Mitchell balling out. Hopefully that ankle isn't going to bother him for game 3. We'll see what happens there. Also, shout out to this man, Clarkson. He has truly found a home in Utah. He has found a home in Utah, and he is playing to his complete maximum potential. I love what I'm getting from Clarkson. He's looking spectacular. He fits in perfectly with this Jazz team, and he's doing his thing. Shout out to him as well, because he's finally found a place where he can really show off his talents. Shout out to Rudy Gobert. Shout out to Ingles. Shout out to Bogdanovich. They all did their thing today. All in all, Utah played well today. You know, it sucked to see the league constantly get away, but you know what? They never lost focus. They continued to play their game and play well, and they closed the game down the stretch. With that being said, let's switch over to the Clippers. The Clippers. You know, if you're a Clippers fan, you've got to be frustrated watching this team every game. It's just frustrating to watch them. Because it's just like, you know this team is much talented in the way they play, but you just don't know. You don't know. For a team that's supposed to be so great defensively, it seems they just have trouble stopping anybody. I mean, I saw plenty of times in this game where just dudes were left wide open. This is supposed to be one of the best defensive teams here, and they're just leaving dudes wide open. Let's go down the list. Kawhi Leonard. I don't really. Kawhi Leonard is just one of the most confusing superstars out there. I don't know what to make of him. You know, sometimes sometimes he wants to take over the game. Sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he wants to play like the best player on the planet. Other times he just wants to have a chill game. I don't know how Kawhi plays, and because there were plenty of moments down the stretch in this game where he's making great defensive plays. Like he's just stealing the ball, intercepting passing lanes and making great plays. And he would go down the court and it's like, all right, maybe you should take that shot or get aggressive, try to find your shot. What is he doing? Driving and kicking. Pretty much for the fourth quarter, driving and kicking, driving and kicking. He had one cool dunk, that's nice, but it was just driving and kicking, driving and kicking, driving and kicking. Bruh, it's not happening. Marcus Morris. Sometimes he has it, sometimes he doesn't. He didn't have it tonight. Simple as that. Paul George. Paul George had 27 points today, so that's a good thing. He wasn't efficient from the field, but it wasn't as bad as it was in game 1, so he played better, so that's good. It wasn't efficient, but he still played better. Some of those points went garbage time, but, you know, the game was pretty much over, but it is what it is. Paul George has to be just absolutely just... He's got to be frustrating Clippers fans because, like, what do you do with this guy? He's supposed to be this superstar that's supposed to help you go alongside Kawhi Leonard. You guys are supposed to be playing great. But the guy at times, it's just down the stretch in key moments, the guy just doesn't seem to be there. It's a moment where they're like down 2, I believe, and they have a chance to tie this game. And he decides to do a behind-the-back pass that just goes out of bounds for a turnover. And people are just looking at Paul George like, really, dude? What are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know. At this point, for me, Paul George is Paul George. This is how he plays. This is who he is. This is what he's going to do. I sit back and enjoy the ride. I have no reason to hate on him. This is not my team. If the Clipper fans want to crucify him, go all ahead. But I'm just going to sit back and enjoy. When Paul George makes a boneheaded play, it is what it is. I'm like, hey, man, it happens to the best of us. If Paul George comes out here and fails to show up, hey, you know what? It is what it is. In the regular season, he looks like a top 10 player. In the playoffs, sometimes he can look like a bench player. Other times he actually shows up. You never know what you're going to get with Paul George. He's the perfect definition of what this Clippers team is. You just don't know what you're going to get with them. So, yeah, Paul George is going to continue to be Paul George. If you can win a championship with him, then you can, do it. Best of luck to you guys. I don't think you can win a championship with this guy being your second star. But you know, he's an effective player. He played better this time around than he did in game 1, so give the man his credit. But I don't know. Paul George has to be frustrating Clippers fans right now. Reggie Jackson. Reggie Jackson can be a reckless player on offense. But one thing I'll say about Reggie in this postseason is he has been showing up in key moments for the Clippers. This team doesn't have a closer. I think you may want to consider Reggie Jackson to be that closer because he was showing up in key moments down the stretch in this game. They don't have a closer. Reggie Jackson needs to be in consideration for that because the plays he was making tonight, he led all scores with 29 points. So I think you got to look at him and be like, we got to get him the ball. He may have to be the closer because he can be reckless at times, but he can also make great plays. So I look at him and say, it's got to be Case. Zubac. I don't know what he's going to do in this series. I mean, he keeps getting the foul troubles. It's like, it's going to be hard to play him out there. Same thing for DeMarcus Cousins. It just seems like the refs do not want to let this man play. They are on his case every time he steps on the court. So it's like, what do you do at this point? What can you actually do? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Patrick Beverley. Now, Patrick Beverley is a good defender. He knows how to frustrate players on defense. Obviously, we all remember what Russell Westbrook said. This guy does a whole bunch of running. He doesn't really do anything. But you know what? At times, he can definitely be frustrating on defense. So I understand why he's out there. But this guy on offense, oh my God. Reggie Jackson plays reckless on offense, but you can work with it. You cannot work with Patrick Beverley on offense. Patrick Beverley plays like a jackass when he's on offense. Defense, he's frustrating. That's cool. Offense, he plays like a jackass. You cannot have this guy on the court down the stretch when you are freaking scrambling for points. You cannot have this guy here. Honestly, Ty Lue, the same decision you made in the Maverick series, you might have to make here. You might just have to bench Patrick Beverley. Bring back Terrence Mann. Like, bench Patrick Beverley, please. He's not bringing anything to you. I'm sorry. Defense ain't even showing up that much anyway. Y'all still letting Donovan Mitchell go off. Thank you, by the way. It don't even matter. First of all, you're not guarding Donovan Mitchell. He's hitting, like, deep threes on freaking everybody. He's hitting deep threes, step back threes. You guys keep letting him get to his right side, and he's cooking you every time. Thank you for doing that. You know, the man's a beast. And I'm just glad Donovan Mitchell's just cooking this team. So it don't matter if Patrick Beverley's out there or not. Donovan Mitchell's still going to cook this entire squad. So you might as well bring out somebody else that's going to bring you energy. You know, like I saw Luke Kennard out there. So like Luke Kennard, so alternate, like have Luke Kennard out there at times and have Terrence Mann out there, but bench Patrick Beverley. He's not bringing anything to the table. Overall, the Clippers are just, they're kind of screwed, man. I would be shocked to see them overcome this. But again, the Clippers at the same time, they have moments where they live up to their talent and they just take over. So games 3 and 4 are going to be in LA, and I don't know how that's going to go. For all we know, we're sitting here, they're down 0-2. Next thing you know, at the end of game 4, they tie the series up, and we're like, well, here we go again with the Clippers. It's the same old story. I don't know what I'm going to get from this team. I don't know what I'm going to get from Kawhi. I don't know what I'm going to get from Paul George. Sometimes Reggie Jackson is going to be there. He's been consistent, but sometimes he's going to be reckless with the ball. Marcus Morris is on again, off again with him. Zubac is not going to be ineffective against Gobert. Neither is Boogie Cousins. It's like, what is this Clippers team going to do? You know, they go from Luka to now dealing with Donovan Mitchell. And the thing that's making it worse for them is that, you know, with the Dallas series, they had Porzingis, who wasn't really that effective. Here you have Rudy Gobert, who's a menace defensively. He's what, 3-time defensive player of the year for a reason. This guy is a menace on defense, and he's just shutting people down. And then you got Clarkson also giving you major points, and you got Ingles hitting 3, and you got Bogdanovich hitting 3. These guys are tough. Top 3 offensive and defensive rating. Top 5 in offensive and defensive rating. And they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. Good luck to the Clippers. If there's anything they should be happy about, these 2 games have been relatively close. So it's not like you're that far behind. If the team can play up to their talent and their potential as a whole, they should be able to win a game in this series, maybe 2 games. If they can play like that for 4 games, they may take the series in 7. But like, right now, they're just missing shots. They're not coordinating. Overall, it's just their offense, man. Their defense, they're not going to stop Donovan Mitchell. It is what it is. I mean, it is what it is. You're not stopping Donovan Mitchell. But you can do better in not giving up open threes to Ingles or Bogdanovich or even Clarkson. Do better. And the fact that they love to switch everything, it's just not working out, guys. It's not working out. Fight over the screens. But offensively, they just gotta figure something out. It just seems at times they just like to go one-on-one. They play a lot of ISO, and it's like they don't set anything up on offense. It's just like give the ball to Paul George, and Paul George is gonna dribble, try to force his way to the basket, get the contact, go to the free throw line, or he's just gonna hit some sort of fadeaway jump shot. With Kawhi Leonard, he's looking to set himself up for his own shot. It's either that or he's gonna pass the ball out to somebody in the corner and hope they hit a three. That's really their offense. It's just like they're alternating between Kawhi and Paul George to handle the ball. Sometimes Reggie Jackson handles the ball. Sometimes you get Patrick Beverley when he's out here. He's handling the ball. It's just like they got to figure out what they want to do on offense. They don't really have a fluid offense. When you look at Utah's offense, it's fluid. The ball movement is there. They're getting great spacing. They're doing everything they need to do. They can even throw it down to Gobert, and he's going to do his thing there. So they're moving around on offense. The Clippers' offense is just so janky. So I don't know what they're going to do. I guess it comes down to your stars being your stars and showing up and playing up to this level. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, Jazz take game 2. They're 2 wins away from getting to the conference finals. Come on, Jazz. Get it done. I want to see you and Phoenix duke it out in the Western Conference Finals. Let the Clippers go home in the second round. Nobody's going to care. Let's get the Jazz in the Western Conference Finals. Let's get my man Donovan Mitchell to go up against Devin Booker for a chance to get to the NBA Finals. I want to see that happen. Please let that happen. But with that being said, that's all I got, and I'm out of here, man. Peace.